Welcome to the International Authors Expo Replay Series. My name is Teresa Page, and I am the host and the facilitator of this new special event. Teresa K. Page LLC established the International Authors Expo as a celebration of literature that allows authors, speakers, and book readers to engage in masterclass workshops, Q&A panels, as well as author meet and greets in a virtual environment. So what was our goal of this event? This new initiative is designed for my fellow authors to broaden their reach and to share their God-given message in diverse parts of the world, to sell their books, goods, and services in an online exhibit space, share their signature talks to educate published and aspiring authors the practical tools of success, answer questions regarding their personal writing journeys, enhance their brand awareness, as well as increase the probability of a viable return on investment. So I want to say thank you for joining us for this first voyage. Now relax and let's move forward as you listen in to hear our special headliners and our featured panelists. Let's get down to business. All right, so we have already gotten the party started. Miss Tanya got us already fueled up. So if you don't have your pen and paper, you need to please make sure that you're grabbing your pen and paper and that you're taking some amazing notes on today. And also just keep in mind, with the program that you have just downloaded, you will be able to connect with our authors directly. So please be sure to make sure that you connect. All right, so coming to the stage, I want to now introduce all of you to turn your ears and turn your eyes to meet Miss Sabine Kvenberg. I trust, I hope I said that correctly, Miss Sabine. She is a speaker, best-selling author, and communication coach. So known for helping entrepreneurs and professionals find their voice, speak with confidence, and captivate any audience, Sabine is joining us here on our main stage. She'll also be joining us on our authors panel, and she will be a part of our exhibit hall to showcase her books as well as her signature talk. So her signature talk today is titled From Pages to Stages: How to Book Stages and Present Like a Pro. So if you are a first-time author or you're a seasoned author, I need you to lean in, or Sabine will equip us how to find and book speaking engagements that will align with your message, master the art of delivering presentations with charisma, and turn every stage into a spotlight for your brand. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your virtual hands together and let us welcome the storytelling dame from Germany, Miss Sabine Kvenberg. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, Sabine, and then you can start presenting.
All right. Thank you so much, Teresa, for putting this together. And Tanya, you set us up so beautifully. I love your energy and I loved your singing, right? So here we go, right? What I would like to do is just start out with a story. Because Teresa said I'm the storytelling dame from Germany, so I better start with a story, right? And I want to share the story of that 9-year-old girl who moved to a new area with her parents. And one evening, she wanted to go back to the playground. And mom said, okay, give you 1 more hour. So she did. When she came to the playground where there was this ship that she loved to play in, and the pirate ship, and she was in her dream world. When she came to the doors, the playground was already closed. But when you're a child and you still have 1 hour before you have to go home, you're not going home. You do something. she did. She sat at a bench and just minded her business. And then a very gentleman, an older gentleman, came and sat next to her and got her into a conversation. And she knew her parents told her never go with someone because there are always those child snatchers out there. So, and sure enough, he told her, "Did you see that man? He's a child snatcher. Let's get away from him." That was a good idea. So they walked away from the supposedly child snatcher, and they walked around that hill where she used to sled down in the wintertime. When they reached the back of the hill, the older man said, "Let's go up that hill. Let's take a shortcut." Good idea. You know, she was in adventure mode because she is that pirate. She is that strong girl. Right in the middle, the gentleman kneeled down and did this gesture with his hands. "Come on, girl, come on down here." That moment, something happened within her. She heard that still small voice, that intuition that screamed at her, "Run, run, run." She ran up the hill. She ran down the hill and heard those teenagers just yelling at her until she reached the street. She was paralyzed. She went home in her room. She never told anything to her parents. She felt ashamed. But here's what happened. At that evening, she started praying. The family was never going to church, but she knew there was one power, one higher power that can help her get through that experience. Little did she know that this was the beginning of her spiritual journey and awakening. Now, let me ask you, we are back here. Put it in the chat. Did you feel something? Was there any kind of emotion? Put yes if you felt any kind of emotion. Listen to the story. Because when we hear, thank you, yes, 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 I'm glad. Because this is what stories do. They evoke emotions, and you are all storytellers. Either if you have written a book, or you are planning to write a book, or you're planning to speak, you have powerful stories within you. And Tanya just put it so beautifully. We can all awaken that giant. So let me share my screen with you today and go a little bit deeper in what I want to share with you today. So let me see if I can get this all done. Okay, here we go. Do you see my screen? All right, fantastic. So, first of all, before we go anywhere, I just want to make sure, because I cannot see. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So, one of the things that I want to share with you today is obviously how you can share your message from book to pages, from pages to stages, right? But before I do this, let me just give you a quick background who I am. So I live in Florida and I'm a mom of my two pups here, and this is my hubby. I help entrepreneurs, business professionals, and CEOs master their presentation skills and eradicate public speaking jitters. I started as an actress and musical theater performer in Germany, so very close to England. And I played many roles throughout my years. But then a shift started to happen, the next chapter, and I founded and operated a performing arts school for over 27 years. In that capacity, I helped aspiring actors getting their start in the entertainment industry. And that's when I started my first book, Secrets on How to Succeed in Showbiz. And I started it not because to now you do this and that for your acting career. But I realized that talent is only 20%, 80% is your mindset, your attitude, and your gumption that you move forward and putting your goals into action, how Tanya just so beautifully explained it. And that led me to speak on many different stages. And today I am a podcast guest, not guest, I'm guesting too, but I'm a podcast host. I'm speaking on stages. I'm also a singer-songwriter and the author of many books, and one of them became an international bestseller. So what we will cover today: why authors need stages, what stages can do for you, how to speak with impact and use your story strategically, and of course, how to get booked on stages. And we will have later a time for Q&A. So why do authors need stages? Your book is the door. Your voice is the key. Your book is the door. Your voice is the key. Now let's unravel that. Speaking builds visibility and trust. When you see and hear someone talk about the topics that they talk about, you have immediately trust in them. And it can be on physical stages, like what I do, or on summits, like what we do today. Readers love to see and hear the voice behind the words. And of course, it helps to sell your books and services. This was one of the audience members who saw me at one of my presentations. And of course, then people were lining up to get the book and get it signed by the author. And speaking on stages creates authority. You can grow your audience and accelerate your business. Speaking will also help you attract media and podcast invitations. You can reach your ideal audience faster and turn a one-time reader into a lifelong client. Now, let's get to the storytelling part. Storytelling equals impact, right? Stories are not just entertainment. They are transformation. And as you shared with me at the beginning, it was impactful. There was some emotions, right? Stories create connections, credibility, and conversations, but they also stir up emotions. People buy through emotions, justified with logic. Of course, everything has to make sense. It's not just, just a story that you tell. Everything has something behind it. And in my case, the story that I shared at the beginning is the story of my new upcoming book with the title Gumption, that is being released January 2026. And there's a red carpet celebration in Orlando. You can ask me later more about it. But this is a very powerful book. And if you are an avid reader and and you're listening and following some of the people, this book is a combination between Chicken Noodle Soup for the Soul, Think and Grow Rich, and The Secret. So that's just a little plug-in for my future book that's coming up. But now let's go back to how we can use stories strategically. Every author has 3 core stories. The origin story, and that means why you do what you do. Tanya shared her story of feeling there needs to be more. She wants to start her own business. And now she is a great coach. And many of you have a story like that. And that's what you want to share, because stories are powerful tools. The transformation story, the journey, or you can even share the journey of a client of yours. And then, of course, the teaching story. And that is what make your message stick. And that means if you have a concept that you want to teach, what you want to talk about, attach a story with it. And that, brings it more into the back of people's mind, and see how powerful teaching stories are. I still remember a story of my first grade teacher when we had to get the concept of maps, right? Everything is flat. When you're a kid, everything is three-dimensional. So she shared a story of a giant that came through the town and put all the houses flat. Okay, now you can understand it's still the same houses, but now they're just flat. See, and that story still sticked with me until today, right? So stories are powerful, or teaching stories are powerful tools to make message sticks. What kind of stages do we need to consider and master? There are the virtual stages, like a summit. There are the physical stages that you can go out to, and there are all kinds of stages. And then there are the invisible stages. Now, let's talk about the invisible stages, because this is where the real work happens. Master the moment no one sees to lead the moments everyone remembers. Think about that. Master the moments no one sees. Like for the prima ballerina, she had to work hours and hours and years to perfect her craft, to grow those muscles, so that one day she can shine on stage dancing in Swan Lake. And that is what you can do. You must do. You must do the work, the invisible stages first. Before you stand on a stage in front of hundreds, you must stand confidently in front of yours. The invisible stages is where you confront self-doubt. We all have them. I'm not good enough, or I can never do this, or I'm so afraid to go on stage. But there are tools to get you through. One of them is learn presentation skills. When you know these skills, you will become better. And then, of course, rehearse your message. Either you memorize it or you write down bullet points and then start speaking freely. Everybody has a different method, but there are certain tools you can do. And then build your confidence in quiet, private spaces. Speak with impact. Presentation skills are the author's superpower. And I will go here through quickly because we don't have so much time, but obviously you can visit me afterwards in my private space and I can go more into depth and I can teach you more about it or answer any questions you have. Number one, engage with voice, body, and presence, right? To give you just one example, if you just swoop down your shoulders, you're not very confident. Shoulders back, stand tall, have the power pose, right? Let me ask in the chat, who is afraid or maybe hesitant in public speaking? Or just has the hesitance to go out on stages? Put it in the chat. I'm sure there are many of you that have some sort of fear, and that's perfectly okay. It's okay. Right? So the next thing I want to talk about, command attention through delivery. When you have that's these skills, you have your body language, your presence, your voice, you can speed up when it's very exciting, or you can slow down, or even have a pause. This is where you command your stage, where you own your stage. And then inspire action, not just applause, but inspire action to take action, right? So let's go real quick how to get booked on stages. There's a simple system to start speaking. Number one, package your talk title and your topic. Of course, my talk title, From Pages to Stages, how you can get booked. Number two, create a speaker one sheet and a short video that people can see you. And if you don't have a video yet, it's okay. Start speaking somewhere, and then eventually you can create a speaker page. And this is my speaker one page, and you can check it out. If you go to sabinekvenberg.com and look under speaker, you can see what it is. You can see this as an example. And then reach out to event host with a value first pitch. Don't say, hey, I wrote a book and I want to be on your podcast. Hey, I am a great speaker. I get this all the time. People pitching to me, wanting to be on my podcast. But when I get something like, hey, I listened to the last episode where you talked about ABC, and I think I can bring value to your audience because now I'm listening. So make sure you have a value first pitch. And then, of course, leverage your book as your credibility key. So if you have a book, people love to feature people that wrote a book. Small stages lead to big stages. Start where you are. Libraries, workshops, wherever it is. Virtual summits, networking events. Use each stage to build your confidence, credibility, and reel, that video that I just talked about. And if it's just for a small group you feel comfortable with, your friends, but everything builds up to the other. Now, I'm going to give you some bad news and some good news. The bad news is I only have a small amount of time available here right now. But the good news is that you can visit me during the breakout session. And I also put together a list of stages that you can apply to. And it's different for each one of you, of course. But this is where you can download it. You can take a screenshot here or take a picture of the QR code, and you can always visit me in the breakout session and ask questions during the Q&A panel. But that is my presentation. And let me get out of here and stop sharing. Here we go, Harvest. So now I can see all your comments here. Wonderful, wonderful. That's it, my friends. And I want to stop with this, or I want to leave you with this. If you are an established author, you know what I'm talking about. You want to sell more books. If you want to speak on stages and you want to start becoming an author, I encourage you to get started, even if you don't know the how yet, but make a decision. Start out by downloading all the goodies here today and then take action.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Miss Sabine. Thank you so much for giving us some insight. Let's clap it up in the chat for her. Now, Sabine, I believe you shared that you have a resource that you want to be able to share more information about how to get on stages and different things like that. Is there something you want to speak to, even though just from a high level point of view in that regard, while we're waiting for Dr. Laura to get plugged back in?
Well, I'm happy to. As I mentioned before, it all goes in stages. Your stages will grow. And the list that I put together have different options. If you just starting out, find something you feel comfortable with, like a networking group or a nonprofit organization, for example, that you can go and speak about your topic. And those nonprofit organizations are helpful. They're grateful to have somebody speak. And this is where you can start getting your speaking legs, or is it sea legs or speaking legs under your belt, and you get some experience. And you can also speak on podcasts. Find a group like Teresa mentioned, right? Hey, we are in this Event Raptor group together, the Speaker Connection, and just go there. And then if you are already an author and you've spoken on stages, I saw in the chat you have already spoken on stages, but maybe you're hesitant to go to the next level. The clients that I'm working with is I teach them the skills and also give them the resources so that they feel comfortable going to the next level. And yeah, so when you download this list, you can see what works for you, and then you can always get in touch with me more if you want to go even deeper.
Thank you so much for giving us some more insight there. And I just have to share with all of you, Sabine and I just recently met. We actually met in a networking space that's called the Speaker Connection. I don't know if many of you have heard of Eric Stevenson, but he and his wife, they have a platform wherein it allows those who have stages, as well as people like you and Sabine and others to actually connect with individuals who either have a stage, or for those who are looking for a stage, whether it's podcast hosts or conferences or summits or panels. It's called the Speaker Connection. If I remember to gather that link, I'm going to try to get it and put it in the chat for those of you who are looking to be able to connect with different people around the world. That's how Sabine and I was able to meet. I shared about this event. She said, Teresa, in a private chat, I want to be a part of this. And that's how we got her here today. So that was a very short trip as far as from those few weeks. And it was such an awesome opportunity to have someone of her caliber to be a part of this experience. Same thing with Tanya. We actually had the opportunity to be fellow panelists with I believe Lord, his name is escaping me, but he's another great speaker that I was able to come in and to connect with, and that's how I was able to meet Kanye. Yes, Mr. Obey, thank you for reminding me of that. And so for you authors, whether you're aspiring authors or published authors, or even if you're not an author, but you're a professional and you have a particular message that you would like to share with the world, take hold of what Tanya is sharing with us, what Sabine has shared with us, being able to present yourself to different entities, being able to show that value so that you are able to get your message out. All of us have a great message to share, either with a people, a territory, or a region. So it's important to let our voices be heard. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's give it up one more time for Miss Sabine. Thank you for joining us today. It was such an honor to have you. Remember to check out Sabine's newest book, Become Empowered, Echoes of Grace and Strength. Take advantage of her complimentary gift, Speak with Impact, the go-to guide for entrepreneurs who want to be heard, trusted, and booked. To learn how to access this complimentary gift, please see the bio or the important link. Also, be sure to connect with Sabine by visiting her website at www.sabinekvenberg.com. And you may also email her at sabine@sabinekvenberg.com. Connect with her on YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Sabine Kvenberg, as well as on Facebook at Impact Communication Coaching. Now, authors, are you looking for another venue to add into your event repertoire? Well, mark your calendars for the upcoming International Authors Expo for the fall of 2025. This celebration of literature and creativity from around the world will convene via Cisco WebEx on Saturday, October 25th, 2025 from 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. To learn more, visit teresakpagellc.eventbrite.com for event details and new dates for 2026. So we want to say thank you for joining in for this episode of the International Authors Expo Replay Series. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, here's to the journey, and let's move forward.